Hello, race fans, and welcome to Tabletop Sports Network, your home for miniature sports. The Diecast racing community is growing by leaps and bounds, and tiny drivers are popping up everywhere. But the drivers aren't just the ones behind the wheels of these tiny hot rods. The drivers are the content creators, custom track parts creators, racing promoters, and anyone pushing this sport to greater heights. We wanted to sit down and have a conversation with the people that make this sport what it is today. And here's our conversation with Jack Receveur of Jack, John, and Katie Racing. We hope you enjoy. Hello, race fans. This is Dave Davis here with Tabletop Sports Network, Tiny Hot Rod Association, and What Game Now. We are here with Jack Receveur from Jack, John, and Katie Racing. And how are you doing today, Jack?
I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome. Well, as I'm sure you've seen in the other videos, we all want to know about what you do. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so I am actually 13 years old and I'm a student, and I live in southern Indiana in the Louisville metro.
Okay. And how did you get started in diecast racing?
Uh, Really at the start, when I was pretty young, my dad really got me like a bunch of the Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars. And as I grew up, we kind of did other things. I mostly watched the Ghost Joker channel, which I still watch. It's pretty good. I did diecast stuff inspired by that, and I also did some Hot Wheels football, and I was inspired by his monster truck football. And
Yes.
then, in 2018, I discovered. Well, also I did watch a bit of Sub 4A. In 2018, I discovered 3D Bob Maker, and didn't really watch King Mountain. I mostly just watched the tournament series. Then I started to get into the King Mountain. My dad had, it was John in my team. He does all the customization, and then this year in July, I started my Facebook group, and sometime next year, I am gonna start a channel.
Awesome. Yeah, that's I once again, like I've said before, blame 3D, right? So
Yeah.
but it's good that you mentioned Ghost Jerker as well, because mine was kind of the opposite. I discovered 3D obviously first, because I've said that before, but then I went to searching around, and I found Ghost Jerker's channel, which I thought was really interesting, and kind of a similar situation for you, because it's, I believe, if I'm not incorrect, it's I haven't talked to him, but I believe it's like a dad and his kids, that do that, and I've watched a lot of their, like, half mile drags, and like you said, monster truck football, or monster truck football, which is fun, and all that stuff. They have inventive stuff.
They really started a while, like way before. They were like one of the first diecast channels ever, and I was just searching one day, and bam, I discovered Ghost Joker, and I've been watching ever since. And then then I discovered the Sub 4A channel with the NOS racing. Using which, I do. I do send in calls for that. And then, there was 3D. Really, that's what we focus on the most, because he has the biggest one yet.
He has the biggest one yet, and I lend that to his production value, right? It's fun to watch Ghost Jerker. They do a great job. It's fun to watch Sub 4RA. It does a great job, and 3D works with Sub 4RA quite a bit, with cars and whatever in their tournaments, and those are great channels. I think 3D just kind of hits. It's just like anybody on YouTube, right? So with this channel, we have like, we're getting closer to like 400 subscribers, and all it takes is like one video that really inspires people to share it with other people, and then it just starts going up from there, and then if you continue with the quality, it goes to a point where you're sitting there, especially the diecast community, where you're sitting there with almost 400,000 subscribers. which
Uh,
I'm sure was a shock to him too. And if you're
mhm.
watching this 3D, I want you on this show. I got to find out
Yeah,
all
it
these
would be fun to
questions.
see him. It would be fun to see him on there. Also, you should maybe you should reach out to Ghost Trick and see if he wants to do it.
I do want to do that. I think that would be an awesome opportunity to be the first time that we have like 3 people on, so I get him and the
Yeah,
boys on there too.
yeah,
Because
maybe
they're
not his wife.
yeah, maybe not, because it's usually him and the boys that are in there
Yeah,
doing the stuff. So I'd want the people involved in it. So,
yeah. I
but
remember like in one of his videos, like the Christmas drag, like what they're saying up. His wife comes like, "What the heck are you doing with the tree?"
yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah.
really funny.
Which usually happens when you get a dad and the kids together, and you just start doing wacky things.
Yeah, especially with me and my dad, and my track is currently in our garage, and we have like our own little corner. My mom really, ever since we started doing it, we were planning to put it in my room, which I'm in now, but she just wanted it out of the garage because it's a huge space,
Yeah.
and she always gets mad at me. Plus, I have 2 younger sisters who one of them is pretty young, and she always messes with the track when I don't
Yeah.
want her to.
No doubt, no doubt. Um, okay, so like I said, you started it watching those channels, and then you started getting into modifieds and stuff like that
Yeah.
with your dad. Do you do
hmm
any modification yourself, or
Uh, yeah, I do some. Mostly, I'm the guy who paints the cars. So any of the paint jobs you see on the calls we send, I probably do it. But
right?
he does all the ones for 3D. If if like this if they are smaller ones like the Rust Belt Racing, the re-race diecast ones, I'll probably do on my own because it's not as big. But
Right.
the the bigger ones, and we'll work together. They're really doing it.
Awesome. And I think some of that is really good. That combine efforts and get to spend time together. That's awesome as well.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. So yeah. We've talked about that. You were just talking about Rust Belt. Josh has been on here, and the Jules have been on here,
yeah,
and but there's so many
yeah.
channels and groups and stuff now. I think I'm a part of, like, I don't want to
So
look it up, but like at least 70 of them. You know what I mean? Like they're just
yeah, like no, originally I didn't really have Facebook. Really, me and my parents agreed I would just get if I was just doing, it was just for 3D.
yeah,
And then I discovered the track attack. Then High Force was
yeah,
then I started my own group. I started to see all of these other groups, and
right,
really most of the groups I try and get in all the ones that are kind of more well known, so I can try and get in like those driver competitions.
yeah,
And I am invited to some by like my friends, some of the smaller ones. 'Cause that's
mhm,
what I do. I usually invite my Facebook friends on
yeah,
into a group, try to expand, but that's really where most of my groups are, and I usually get invited to them. And most of them are all pretty fun. And and it's kind of fun to see like all of these all these people stepping up
yeah.
to like take time and to create these fun diecast races.
Right. And once again, you never know which one of those. I mean, Josh and them over there at Rust Belt are really putting in a lot of great effort and making some really quality content, live racing included.
Yeah, live
Which
racing is probably the most fun. I take part in that a lot. It's pretty fun
right.
watching live races.
Well, me being, I think I made it to 5-time champ at the Mike
Yeah, I
Radar's
saw that.
Radar Speedway. Then lost and
Yeah.
then bounce back the next week
Yeah,
to
you
take
took
it back again.
I no he no Mike Ray calls me the wide receiver. I couldn't take you down in that fold, but honestly,
Yes.
I love folds. I love folds, and really the only times I've been champion is I got my first nickname, my first race, the Milkman there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I won the milk truck, and then there what Mike calls me the wide receiver, and then the other race was the race giving parade. I won at the TF, the
Okay.
Tooth
Yeah. Yeah.
Fairy Raceway, but then I lost to Chris Lowy in the Corvette.
Yeah. I forgot. Now that we're talking, I forgot that it was you who took it from me. Right.
Well, no, I didn't take it.
You didn't take it.
No, you were the last. You were the. I was the last one to go. You actually held
Oh.
off. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
33 forward.
Yeah. 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 The third. Yep. It's so hard to keep them straight. There's so many, and I try to get to watch as many of them as I possibly
Yeah,
can.
the reason I remember those is because I won, and those are like the only 3 times I've won in the Rust Belt.
The only time I win is over there at Rust
Yeah.
Belt, you know.
Yeah.
But I think I've basically come up against everyone that I've interviewed so far. Some
Mostly,
way, shape,
yeah.
or form. Yeah.
Yeah, the only other ones I had close at winning is the King 2.0 from last year. Remember that giant Superbird?
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
That was mine, the King 2.0. That one won, and then recently on the Sub 4A channel, you got Dr. Paul and Captain John mixed. Confused. Captain John won in the AMC Javelin at Bonesville on the Sub 4A channel.
Yeah, if I, you could fill up some major data space with the amount of races that happen on a regular basis
Exactly.
in this community. You know, so just kind of like another question for you, because I've been curious about this, not just with you, but with other people in the community. So if they want to comment on the video, it's fine too.
Yeah.
With the exception of some of the latest things that I've purchased, and I'm basically kind of stay with mainline stuff for Hot Wheels. I've really started doing Matchbox lately because they have some really cool utility vehicles, right? Like the work vehicles. So like and they had this food truck that it's like a black food truck. It's called the Chow something. It's got like a lobster roll theme or something.
Wow.
It's really really nice. Because some people talk down about Matchbox because they're not as good as Hot Wheels or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like this whole side of it is like you can see it's not painted up, but it's actually a plastic body. With
I
metal.
found those Matchbox.
But it's got like all the little individual items on shelves on one side and so on and so forth with the cutout doors. It's got like a sunroof thing on the top. But when you turn it over,
I have one of those. It's mine is the Workman and truck. Really, I don't really buy that many Matchbox. The reason is because is in my races, I want most of them to, most of the cars to have a chance. Yes, I do race a few Matchboxes,
right.
but I don't race that many of them because I want everyone to have a fair chance of winning. And then like all the cars kind of be even, so I don't really get that many Matchbox. But as I am building my track, I will probably buy some Matchboxes to like just put around dioramas, really, that kind of thing.
Well, like I said, they make some really great vehicles for services, like service vehicles. They especially when you get off of the like 94-cent or dollar ones, and you go into the working rigs where they have like really nice front end loaders and all kinds of stuff.
Things.
Yeah, that are really nice. But the latest one that I got from them, they have a series. Well, they have a series. It's going to be 12, but they put out 6 of. They've only put out 6 so far of the off-road rally set, and they have some really cool cars in there. And I just found the number 6, the Bronco. It's like a Bronco all jacked up for rally, set up for rally. And then the Mustang series, which is like
Mm.
12 different Mustangs, some of them police cars.
Yeah,
But
I love Ford.
mhm,
Ford. Or my favorite car is the '69 Ford Mustang Boss 302. It's
yep.
super nice. The reason the Boss 302 is my favorite,
Hmm.
my uncle Paul actually got a 2012 Boss 302, and I got to ride in it.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, we went like 130 miles an hour, and my mom has forbidden me to ride with him again.
Yeah, that
Because no, yeah, I went with him when she was not home, and
uh
when she came home, she was like, "Where's Jack?" My dad said, "Oh, Uncle Paul took him out in his Mustang," and she was so mad at him.
yeah, the Boss 302 is legendary. Um
Yeah.
and yeah. And it's one of those things, right?
Hmm.
You get to ride in a car. I I'm 43 years old, so it's been 30 years since I was 13. But I
Well,
remember those days, you get to go out and get in a fast car, and it's like, okay, I'm definitely not gonna worry about the consequences
yeah,
for that one. I'm just gonna take
yeah,
it, you
exactly.
know. And it's
Exactly.
my uncle. It's great. It's fine. He's a responsible adult.
Yeah, no,
Um,
no. The reason she forbids me ride with him again is because he he's like in his 50s, and
yeah,
he does he does not have kids, so he
yeah,
doesn't really know how to take care of them. And
yeah,
he is a huge car guy. He has like three different he has two Mustangs and a Shelby, and it's pretty nice.
yeah. Most definitely. And I think one of the reasons why a number of us do what we do in diecast is because we just wish we could have those cars in real life. But this is our way of
Yeah,
this is our way of having them without having to spend, you know,
yeah, a bunch
hundreds
of
of
money.
thousands and millions of dollars. Um,
Yeah, it's yeah, just the Mustangs are pretty fun to ride in or drive.
right.
I I like it's just super fun.
Yeah, and if you like Mustangs, though, I would definitely check out that if you haven't seen them yet, the Matchbox Mustang series from
Yeah,
2020. There's even just to collect to have them. There's a bunch of Mustangs in there. There's
yeah,
12 in total, and they're all kind of different from convertibles to hardtops. And then there are a couple of police vehicles in there that are Mustangs as well. And the cool part about that is they're licensed to use like California Highway Patrol and Texas,
yeah,
and all that stuff. So they have the real tampos on there that are like actually from. They look like the actual police cars from those
yeah,
states. So,
yeah. I think I may have to check that out.
but
Sounds
that
cool.
that brings me back to my question that I was going to ask is, um, I'll preface it by saying everything but what I've bought recently. I have, and I need to do that today later. I've been working some 12-hour days. So, um, but I need to go and do this. But I catalog all of them in like an Excel spreadsheet. I have,
Oh, yeah.
actually, it's a Google Sheet.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
that I keep
Uh,
that it's available to me anywhere, partially so that I know when I go to buy cars, I can kind of look things up on my phone or whatever.
Well, I don't really have a spreadsheet because well I have a pretty good memory, so whenever I go to store, I usually just I know which cars I don't
Mm-hmm.
have, so I usually look for cars that I don't have, and it's
Right.
pretty easy for me to remember. But like I may get a duplicate if the other car if the car I already have broke. I will use like a wheel got bent or
Right.
I customize. I'll usually get another one of those cars to replace it, but
Mm-hmm.
usually I'm looking for pretty new cars.
Yeah. So yeah, because I have a pretty good memory too, and my wife actually, I remember things about like she has her hobbies and stuff, just like I have my little
Yeah.
hobbies. And one of them is like a planner thing, right? So
Oh yeah.
I'll go to the store and I'll see something. I'll be like, "You don't have this one, do you?" And to the thing, and she's like, "How do you even know that?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm usually the one that picks them up and they stick in my head. So I usually have a pretty good visual memory of what things are. Now, occasionally
You
I'll
may
think
make
I
mistakes, I
think I
think.
don't have this recolorizing of this car. Like I'm like, oh, I don't think I have that car in blue, right? Or I don't
Yeah.
have that car in red, but for the most part I got it. But I keep that spreadsheet. Well, my spreadsheet is a little bit further. It's like
Yeah.
the what year it was, what series it came from, what number it is in that series, and the car name. It also shows what kind of wheels it has, which is a great thing for me because if I ever need wheel swaps, I can just go in there and be like, what car has, yellow wheels or whatever. And I can just pull it up and be like, okay, I want yellow wheels. Oh, do I want 10 spokes? Do I want this? Do I want that?
Yeah,
And
usually I don't. I usually just, as buy a car, I don't usually buy another version of the color because I know I already have that color, and if it's like a color that's really fast, I get another color version, it would just kind of be like the same one. And so I usually try and like only get one, and that and if I see another color version that I really like, then I'll get that one. But usually
right.
I try and stick to just one. Or if it's like in a 5 pack and most of the colors like the 5 packs and like most of the colors I don't have, but one of them I already do, I'll still get the 5 pack because I want the other
Hmm.
colors.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Is there any cars right now that you're specifically, because it's like in certain areas, it's really weird. Like people find things and then we can't find them here or you can't find them.
Yeah,
Are there any cars like that you've been looking for recently that you haven't been able to
yeah,
find in your area?
yeah. I've mostly been looking for the super treasure hunts. Really, the only cars for the super treasure hunts that I've seen in my area.
Hmm.
All the A4 Audispo Quattro
Yes.
and the full gal and the 65 full galaxy. Those are
Hmm.
really the only two calls for the super treasure hunt that I've really seen in my area, but I haven't
Yeah.
found one of the super treasure hunts. But this year I did find a treasure hunt. It was the circle tracker.
Yeah.
No, not tracker, circle trucker.
Trucker. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's currently hanging on my Christmas tree right now.
Well,
Yeah,
that
I
one, go ahead.
Yeah, I put 3 calls on there. Yeah, those are really the only 2 calls I've seen for the super treasure hunts. Whenever I like see, I'm like, is this one? I see, I'm like, oh come on, but it's not it. And
Yeah.
like I said, I'm 13. I can't really go to the store that much, so
Yeah.
I usually try and tag along with either with my mom. She's the one who usually goes to stores where she
Yeah.
goes on them on the weekends, or if my dad's gone, I was like, hey, can I come to get some Hot Wheels? Yeah, I usually do that. I
It's
also,
like, Mom, where are you going? Yes, I would like to go there.
yeah, I also have another treasure hunt. It's one it's the HW Patrol. I picked it up like in 2015,
Uh-huh.
2016, in just a regular call. This was when this was like when I was like 9 or 10,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't really know what treasure hunts were at the time, so I just picked it up like a regular call. And then the other day when I was using it here in my room, I noticed it has the treasure hunt logo on it. So
Ah.
yeah, for like 4 years I had a treasure hunt and I didn't know it.
I grabbed one night and brought them home and I was popping them open to like catalog them or whatever. And I posted a picture on Facebook about oh, my new acquisitions, right? Like I do that when I get new stuff. So I need to do that again because I have a bunch of things I don't think I put up there.
Yeah.
But I just kind of picked up like 3 or 4 here, 3 or 4 there, and now I have like 20 something cars sitting there waiting to be cataloged. But I'm up to like I'm pushing at least 500 loose
Yeah,
cars now.
yeah. I when I was doing my Hot Wheels football for like my second season, what I decided to do was get like a whole have instead of 3 people on team, 6. calls on a team, and that but three still run down, like they could switch out. I realized that I had like close to 200
Yeah.
calls in it, and then but it's still like a lot in my bucket. I think I have a little over 500 or 400,
Yeah.
and some of the calls I got from my cousin, Zen in North Carolina. He used to be a huge call guy.
Yeah.
He still is a little bit, but
Right.
he's mostly turned to Legos now.
Yeah. It's it's crazy. It builds up fast. I
Yeah,
mentioned it before, like they're only $1 thing, right? So
yeah,
that's the prevailing thought in the mind is, oh, they're only $1. I'll pick up this one here or that one there. Oh man, they
yeah.
have this complete set of 5. It's only $5. Next thing you know, like I said, next thing I know, sometimes I don't always bring them in, so I'll just stack them up in a bag because I'm busy, and then they'll end up like sitting in the back seat of my truck, and then next thing you know, you pick up the bag and you go, whoa.
Yeah,
How is
the
our Hot Wheels
biggest
this heavy? And there's like 30 cars in it. You're like,
yeah, the
oh
biggest
yeah.
haul I bought in so far is earlier this year. I bought in 48 calls. The reason is like back in September, I was planning to do a tournament is where I customize 36 calls in different themes, and they would pick what team, but I realized I had a lot to do, so I canceled that. And
Yeah.
most of the calls were for that, and then I picked up some extra ones. Mostly those calls that from that I have either made to look like demo derby calls or hydro deck.
Yeah, yeah. Like, um, oh, I remind you mentioned Demo Derby.
Yeah, like I would like paint them like you know how some demo derby calls like this just paint over. I would like paint some parts this color, then right next to it like the next part I would paint that a different color. So like look all crazy and beat up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are you a pit crew member for 3D Bot Maker?
Uh I so oh I my email is my school email, so I had to use my dad's email. But
Uh,
yeah. Yeah,
awesome.
my dad's
Not
email
judging. I
is
like, are you or did you do? No, I'm just saying.
yeah, I know. Yeah, my dad. I have to use my dad's email. I usually check. Yeah, I did see that footage of his plan for demo derby.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That would have been cool.
It would have been really cool, and
Yeah,
I think we should convince him to use
yeah. He
his
needs to
considerable
do
talents
that.
right now that he's gathered over the last few years to make it happen, because
Yeah,
I want to see it now as a
yeah. I totally want to
full-fledged
see it.
as a
Like no,
full-fledged diorama 3D style,
yeah.
you know.
I've seen like no Sub 4 did do the demo derby stock calls. I sent some calls to first. There's those called. It was the Audi Sport Quattro
Uh-huh.
and the 68 Nova. They both went on to the second round, and then they
Awesome.
both lost in that one. I believe the winner of that was Dave Akers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Greenwood Corvette. What they should do is either do like stock, not like send stock calls, or what he could do is like have them paint like no weight, just have them paint the calls to look like demo derby
Right.
calls. I have a huge amount of those. Those are it would be cool to see.
Yes, and I think there's a that would be cool, and I like those theme type things where you could get people to customize for a theme. So
Yeah,
like, uh,
the high
so
boys diecast Germany, the flying German Stefan Hiller.
right,
He his first race. His first custom race, he basically had a bunch of cars he would draw from, and then there would be a theme. I didn't enter it because it's overseas, and then
right,
I decided I should have entered afterwards. The car was a Volkswagen Golf MK2, and the theme is a race car. It's pretty cool.
yeah. So like that's cool, and like I know that recently. I don't think he's run it yet, but he's got all of his entries in for Indiana Diecast for the turtle
Wagon.
van.
Yeah, Polly
The
Wagon.
power, yeah.
Yeah.
I did not get to send them in because I just got so busy
Yeah.
the last month, with work and stuff. But I did, every time because it was really hard to find the turtle
Yeah,
vans, the
yeah,
wagons.
I wasn't planning on entering because I was like, I only want to enter in something because Dad was like, no, I don't really want to enter in that. And so yeah, I didn't enter, but there are all other things I enter in is like the small ones.
Yeah. Did you
Instead,
go ahead?
like no, like some I was gonna send some calls for the King, the Bell, and Rust Belt, but I never got around to
Hmm.
staying them in, so I just took them apart and did my own stuff with the
Yeah.
calls. But yeah, I just couldn't find time to send them in,
Did
and
you
so
did you get a chance to do the sleigh one for Roosevelt?
I didn't really want to do the sleigh
Ah,
because, yeah, I haven't been to the store in a while, and I couldn't really find them there. Plus, they are really a lot more expensive than the dollar ones, and so
well,
I just didn't feel
well,
like
this
really getting it.
the Santa rocking sled. I was able to find some. They are mainline cars, but they put them out like I don't know if they do it every year, but they have like they've had two different. They had a new one this year, I think,
Yeah,
with the green color or whatever,
yeah,
which I think the old one looks better. But
yeah. Honestly, like the old one a
I
lot
bought
better.
like two or three of them because my wife wanted to do it, and once again, just hit a spot where it was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do these and get them sent out and with what's going on. So
Yeah,
this next year, I really want to set aside some time and pick and choose because people are starting to plan a little more. And
yeah.
plus with 3D being full up and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I really want to do some of these cool ones. Um, I did buy a bunch of turtle vans or turtle wagons or whatever,
Yeah,
and I did well. I say a bunch. I would have bought more, but as it got closer to the deadline, I was like, I'm not gonna
yeah,
be able to use these. They're cool to have. My
yeah.
plan was just to buy them if I had the time. This was the deal. My plan was I was gonna customize one for their event, right? The plethora of power wagon or whatever of vans or whatever, and send it in. But I was also, if I had it, and I had the time when I thought of the idea, was to buy every one that I could find because they're really hard to find.
Yeah,
Uh, and then put up a post on Facebook and be like, "Hey, if you didn't get a van, right, or a wagon, a party wagon, then shoot me a Facebook
yeah.
message, and then we can, if you want to give me an address to send it to, I'll just send one out or have a little contest, right? Can you name this
Yeah.
or what? And then send them out so it's like a real quick one so that people could have access to them and get them in.
It just
To
wasn't what you just weren't quick enough.
I couldn't. Every time I thought about it, I was like, yeah, but I got to do this, and I've got a new job recently, so I'm having to
Yeah.
like do a lot of rearranging of time.
Yeah, that was going same for me because in the fall I did play soccer, so I had to arrange time for because I am in school right now, and
Hmm.
yeah, I am taking a break right now, kind of focus on school a little bit more,
Yeah.
or from diecast, and I had to like plan and to do the races around the time soccer and also when I like in school. But yeah, it's kind of hard. I did host a modified competition. It was a Halloween race. I got
Uh huh.
one entry. It was from Ryan Kelly, and so I made 8 other calls. Ryan won, of course, because he was the only one sent it in. I said, if I do modified race, you guys need to send me calls. I can't
Right.
keep providing them. So, oh yeah, I can't. So yeah, I think the reason there was because since it's like a small group, people didn't really think I was gonna do it. So I think when they get like called modified in, it's like the channel, like they know you're gonna do it, but it's just Facebook group. They're like, maybe. So
Right.
yeah, and like like you said, with you were playing on polywagons. Yeah, it was kind of the same thing for me for John Tran. And
Mm-hmm.
I had two Miatas. My plan was to customize one for myself and customize and then send in a second one for an international person.
Right.
I messed up the Miata for myself. So I was like, screw that, I'm not doing the international one.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's one of the great things about the community here, especially when those ideas become realities, is that there's a lot of people who really want to help other people. Like,
Yeah.
so whenever like, you're talking about, that's a great idea right there. So like if you have a person who's international, right?
Yeah.
Someone who it would cost a larger amount of money to send
Mhm.
something in, or they just don't, they modify cars, but to send it over would be, more difficult. Um, you know, it would essentially be sponsoring at that point, right? So like, hey,
Yeah.
if you want to put it in there, I'll let you. You can put your name on it, you whatever. You'll be a part of my race team, and we'll send it from from my spot
Yeah.
to where it's going instead of you having to send it from Europe or something.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, like no, yeah, I was trying to like glue a weight into the Miata, like glue into the bomb, and I messed it up by I accidentally gluing the wheel to the axle and the axle to the chassis. So I was like, screw that, I threw the Miata in the trash. So instead of like using like those large tungsten chunks, I just put a few of the Lego weights and then just a bunch of the chips, super glue
Right.
them to the thing. And then what I did was I just put a lot of white paint on the top and called it the Snow Miata because yeah,
Yeah.
to make it look like it was going through a blizzard.
Yeah.
Is people you people like it? I think a buzzard landed some stuff on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I realized it wasn't probably the best design because it looked like bird poo, but it was still funny to read either reply saying, and I think a buzzard attacked your call.
Yeah. It's That's another thing. The community is so into everything, so the comments aren't just like, cool casting or whatever. It's like,
Yeah,
that car is, yeah.
yeah,
There's so many of them out there, so many channels and stuff out there, but there's so many really good people who just enjoy the act of running cars around a track, right?
yeah.
So
That's really well, one reason I saw it because before I started my group, we were just really building my track, and really what we did, we worked in the winter, and then in the summer we were just not doing it because my dad had outside work to do. And
mhm.
so we were gonna probably I maybe do one, but the reason I really started is also kind of have people entertained, but also because I was kind of getting bored because I really just did races that were like my own thing. I would just do other stuff like that, and really I just started to kind of have fun and have people who enjoy the races.
Yeah, yeah. It Exactly. I think that's the most important thing, and I think even when you get to the size of like a 3D or whatever, I think that's
Yeah,
still a like he wants to produce things that, like I said, I haven't talked to him. I'm speaking the way I would think, but from
yeah,
his actions, I see someone who really wants everyone to enjoy themselves, and that's the
yeah,
most important goal. Make sure it's good, make sure it's quality, make sure you take the time to put the effort in, but make sure that when they watch it, people have a good time. And I think that's one of those cool things that people like about his channel and his videos is, hey, it's a there's so much that goes into it. Like you see the guy that posts on Facebook. Did anybody else notice that this dude's like laying down in the
yeah.
or this
That was
guy
like
is just
yeah, like that was a whole crime scene, and then there
yeah.
was so much stuff with the McClyde accident.
Oh my.
Yeah, I sent some figurines. Like he hasn't really used them. Really, the only time he used them this year was when when he announced McFly died. I
Yeah.
like those Fast and Furious cars lined
Ugh.
up. One of my figurines was by the cars.
Yeah.
Cause it was like huge thing, and there's like a guy said, like during investigation people were posting the gifs, and he was like this is a investigation, not
Yeah.
play gif
Oh.
competition.
Oh, there's just like you know, the family's comments and look at this picture, and they had like photoshopped an oil leak on the starting line, or
Yeah, and then the call.
just
Yeah, and
him
then
drinking
like
or
no, it's like
whatever.
he's slipped on it oil, and then he swerved to avoid a girl and a cat house.
Yeah, it was. There's such crazy every every run of a race there is tied into like previous races, from the
Yeah.
Formoso Memorial Fountain, and then we almost had a McClyde there, or it's always
Yeah, the
it,
McLeod, like, no, for my previous contract, Dr. Paul's GTO, he's like, oh, he almost went off track. It's like, at least, we all has the McLeod moment. Well, at least he's a doctor. Well, you
yeah.
can't do much when you're unconscious. Good point. Yeah, Dr. Paul is
Yeah.
actually Dr. Paul is actually my grandfather,
Uh-huh.
one of my grandpas. So yeah, I get the names.
Yeah.
Those two calls are actually calls he previously owned.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's so much that goes into that. Now,
yeah,
and like I said, I could literally sit and have a full or full conversation with someone, probably more than the hour or so that we normally do,
yeah.
strictly just talking about those videos and so on
Yeah.
and so forth, about 3D's
Actually,
videos.
actually, did you actually send in any calls?
I haven't. Uh, well, once I discovered it, my main focus was to build a track.
Oh,
And
yeah,
as you can see behind me, that's still a
yeah.
focus. But uh, my ideas have changed so much that
Uh,
I just want. So now the idea that I got to post it on both Tiny Hot Rod
yeah.
Association and 3D's group is to put a train layout underneath here, a full scale like diorama type deal there, and then the track would be above it, and then I would. So it's like an in scale model train, which is smaller than Hot Wheels, down the bottom, and then the Hot Wheels up top, and then basically show visual cues going up that so it's kind of like you're looking down, and the things that are up top are bigger, and the things at the bottom are smaller.
Yeah.
That kind of thing, like a perspective thing. But now it doesn't change a whole lot, but I've kind of decided to put the layout underneath, and then make the track, now that I know where everything's going to go, basically like if you go into a city that has those raised highway turns
Oh
and so on and
yeah,
so forth.
yeah. Called the Spaghetti Junction.
Yeah. So it's to make the track kind of like that. So where everything's on pillars that go into the train layout, but taper them to where they scale. So like from the bigger one to the smaller, so they look kind of natural on the bottom half,
Uh,
but they're bigger on the top. Anyway, I have like this whole idea of like what I want to do now. Uh, actually, I'm hoping
that,
in the next couple of days I'll have some time to work on it.
yeah.
Because I'm off in the next few days
Mm-hmm.
to work on the layout, and then the train layout stuff, and then build up from there.
Uh,
I don't think I'm
yeah.
going to need as much of this wall as I thought was going to be here.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I think, well, also with this part right here, when I rebuilt
Mhm.
it, because it was, the angles were a lot steeper.
Yeah.
And I posted a video, so it's like, it was really fast, and I wanted to slow it down some. So the angles aren't as severe in the new layout. But over here, it's going to be like a train station where it comes in with a stairway that leads up to a finish line, kind of like party area. That's where, where they come in. So, and when the car's finished, there's like fans and like a little grandstand
Yeah.
and some flashy lights and stuff, like, hey, you win.
Uh,
So I have all these ideas in there. So we were talking about that earlier. So I
mhm.
know that you said that you're working on a track. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So yeah, my original what the original plan was is my track, and it's like kind of like a circuit. It starts at top, goes down, hero pin goes down, and then another hero pin, and like goes underneath the first straightaway. The
Uh
original idea is it would fit in my room, and after a lot of building, my dad realized it's not gonna fit in here.
huh.
So yeah, it's really like that. And since then, we added a bar hatch, like a rally track in it. That. Uh, it just won't work. And then I added a jump at the bottom. But on new track, what my dad realized is a lot of people nowadays they like are making their tracks look like a mountain.
Hmm.
So
Right.
what his idea is well, the one support beams, we would spray paint those gray and like drill holes in them to look like rafters,
Uh-huh.
and then have it like look like it's under construction in a parking garage, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, and then we're gonna remodel it so you could see all the track. And my idea for name is Construction Speedway because it looks like it's still under construction.
Exactly. And that's an awesome idea. And then
Mhm.
as building this up, I was like, maybe I just have, once I get the structure right, maybe I just have some
Yeah.
construction races to where it's like, we're still in construction. But here's because I just want to run cars down it all the time.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and the way I had it set up before, I found out that I could use, come here, boys. I could use the little micro machines on it. So,
Oh yeah,
hmm.
and those things. Yeah, mine's just pretty like also. Yeah, my idea for a track is like on my track I use right now for my races. The first hill is super steep, and
Yeah.
we're like gonna fix the angle of that. What we're probably gonna do, we're gonna use the first part of the track, back track. Then I'm probably gonna leave a jump in, and then we're gonna have it like go into the crash races and have a figure eight. And it's I'm honestly kind of excited, but my original idea for like my community, it was like the stuff I'm doing. I was originally gonna start working on I was gonna start a channel at the ending of 2021 because it would be like hard to start a season this late in the year,
Yeah.
you know. But I realized that yeah, we need to remodel the track. So our focus is we're currently uh, we're trying to get a call done for the DIRS,
Mm-hmm.
does as my dad calls it,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna uh, once that call is done, we're gonna shift to the sub 4A calls.
Uh-huh.
I was like, get those full calls done, ship those out, then we're gonna start getting on remodeling my track, and we're probably gonna put it in the basement, maybe,
Yeah.
or we'll keep it in the garage. Really, my mom just wants it out of the garage, and yeah, it'll kind of be easier in the basement because it's out of the way.
Right. No, definitely. It can take up so much room. So I had
Yeah,
to, well, that's kind of a similar situation with me. I'm like, okay, well, I got this space.
yeah,
I was like, man, I'll just make it with nice, durable outdoor materials and I'll put it on the back porch because we have like a raised back porch. I put like tape down, marking measurements because I had laid out this layout that I wanted to do and it was going to take this much and this much. Yeah, that was not
yeah.
approved. That was not approved by my wife at all.
Yeah,
The
we
tape is still there to remind her that it could have happened. But but which it couldn't happen because once she says no, it's over. So she's like, you have that room in there. And I'm like, yeah, but I record other things in there. Like we do tabletop miniature stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't have enough room to have like a comfortable space for my, 4x4 table and 4 foot
I
by 4 foot
mean,
table and all that stuff. Right. And
yeah.
she's like, well, you're just going to have to do something. And I was like, fine. So I built this little L shape in the corner, um, which continues down further. And there's like my desk area where I can paint my miniatures and stuff and
Yeah.
record that stuff. So right now, all of this is still in construction, and hopefully, eventually, they'll be finished because I'm going to build some flat file drawers that go down here at the bottom to put the Hot Wheels and trains and stuff in.
Yeah. I do know you have seen my track.
Mm-hmm.
So like in the beginning, my mom, like the plan was it was gonna go in my room once we're finished. The whole thing, there's the front stretch and the second, like the starting gate and the corner and the second corner in that little garage area.
Right.
That part of the track is a whole separate piece. Like we can detach the fat track and basically split it in half.
Mm-hmm.
And that the plan was when it was done, we were gonna move up in my room, but
Yeah.
and my mom always asks, when are you gonna move that into his room? And then like earlier this year, my dad realized it's like not gonna fit in here. So we'll try. I wanted to get a separate shed like Ghost
Yeah.
Joker and have it in there because it'll kind of be good. My parents are like, no, like it'll be hard to put that in. And so what the plan? We are like trying to like fit like it's like in middle right where my mom parks the car and a pole, and then there's like this little walkway there in that area, and then then behind there is our workspace where I paint and my dad customizes. My dad wants to like push it against the wall right there.
Right.
But that's where we keep like all of our recycling. And the reason he wants to push it there is because it will be right next to our workbench. I want to put it in the basement because right now we all finishing up our basement. And my mom also wants to go down there because she just wants it out of the garage. So we're just gonna
Right.
have to figure it out.
All right. Keep going. I'm just looking at
Okay.
something. Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's kind of like that. It's just like, bam, she wants it out of the garage, basically. It's just like that. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, so it does take up a lot of space, especially if you want to make like big sweeping turn
yeah,
racks and all that stuff. We all would just love to be able to say, okay, and snap our fingers and we have a warehouse to put in there. You mentioned the
yeah,
shed, which I think Main Street Racers also did a shed thing
yeah.
recently
Well,
or are
like the
doing a shed
reason my
thing.
parents don't really want it is because as our front yard, it's mostly visible to the street we live on,
Yeah,
and there's like a giant hill on the side of the house, and behind our house is like my mom put a playhouse there. We don't use it that much, so was really the only place where a shed can go is pretty much taken.
yeah,
Can I would think like the only way you could like put a track wherever in the house is like the jewels if the husband and wife both are into it
yeah.
and want to do it. That's really what I think the only way you can get a shed like put the track wherever.
Yeah.
If the wife is like no, then yeah, it's like
Well, you have to.
I'm screwed. I'm gonna have to find a place.
We're gonna. I've been married for 12 years, and I can tell you that it's
Yeah,
a matter of compromise. Sometimes
yeah,
you want things, and then in my case, my wife goes, no. And then she explains to me how my childlike mind does not, my whimsical childlike mind does
Yeah.
not understand the concepts of, well, little things, just small things like the reality of how much space it's going to take up, and
Yeah.
the inconvenience that it's going to be for everyone else other than me, and et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera. So she tries to accommodate my mind of whimsy, but sometimes she has to say, you know what? Although I
Yeah.
understand that you have this mind that comes up with these wonderful things, sometimes they're not feasible, and you're going to have to rethink that. And then I have to
Yeah.
put on my big boy brain and figure out where to put it. But
Yeah.
it
Like no,
happens.
yeah, there's if I don't know if you have kids or not. I have two sisters. One
Yeah,
is 3 years younger than me. The other one is 9 years younger than me. So yeah, there's a huge age difference.
right.
My littlest sister, she is still like a pretty young kid, and like when my like in 2019, she was 3, and she was like sometimes I would come home and see a I like in Tennessee, I had a little thing called Food Truck Way. I had a bunch of food trucks there,
Yeah.
and I would see like that all messed up, see cars that below that was, and they're all messed up. I was like, "Did you mess up my track again?" That I will always get mad for doing that because I would have it like that. My other sister doesn't really do that much. She's not into it that
Right.
much. But like if you have little kids, just or if you ever do, who have kids that are pretty young, just be prepared for them to mess up your track and
I
calls.
have I have two children,
Uh,
but they are both grown adults. Um, so my daughter is 21 and my son is 24.
yeah, so
So,
well, no, if they have
but they
kids,
probably
eh,
still would mess up my track if they were here.
yeah, well, no, if they have kids and he'll be prepared for them to
Right.
mess up your
The
track.
the possible grandkid invasion is next,
Yeah,
right? Uh, but yeah, like I said, if that's one of the questions that I have asked before, so I'll go ahead and ask you that. Um, is if you had unlimited space and unlimited money to build your track, kind of what would you say if you had to describe it? What would it look like, or what would it be?
um, probably I would not build it like a super crazy one, and I would just build like a simple one because as really the main part of these tracks is the cars have to finish. And
Right.
so I would like just build like one that's pretty simple,
Mm-hmm.
full, and not very big, but big enough to have a lot of action. So a lot of the times the cars make it down because that's really the huge thing. Cars have to make it.
Right.
Uh, yeah, I bet I haven't watched that uh, like a long part of your episodes, but I would imagine a lot of the people would say, I would build the biggest and craziest track ever. I would just build like if that's what a lot of people hope they would do, they would like build a giant crazy track. Well, I would just build simple so I could have cars that finish a lot.
Exactly. But I think if I remember correctly, that most people have asked that question did not go with a wild and crazy track. They, as far as complicated design, I think JD said he would just have multiple different types of tracks, like a rally,
Yeah.
a thing,
Yeah,
a
that would be what
drag, and
I
so on
would
and so
do.
forth.
Like, no, I would like have road course. It was some like a while ago. I did set up like I on my front porch. I have a 6 lane
Mm-hmm.
and propped up, and the slot car tracks.
Yeah.
I would have the 6 lane up, the cars run down, and then go on slot car tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And to the end, like that kind of drag. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would kind of have multiple tracks, or if I could, I would have like one track that would have all of them, like the start a drag, then go into road course, then go into a rally bit, and then finish. in a
That's kind of
shout.
cool. I
Yeah,
kind of like
that
that.
would probably be the best track ever, one with all three.
Yeah, so it starts off with um, or it's all contained in one area. That would be kind of cool too. Like it's multiple
Yeah.
tracks. I think like Beaverworks has like
Yeah.
a road course track,
Yeah, and then they
and
have
then
the giant jump track.
the jumps like in like right there with it, and so on and
Yeah,
so forth.
the Chaos Canyon, and you also need to get them on here.
I know.
They have their chaos track up, and then they have a like below a second track they're working
Mm-hmm.
on. Yeah, my track, like it has like the track, and then my dad put in a small rally bit. It's
Mm-hmm.
just as a is I put like grass padding on. It's just a straight a down and then a hold bounce at the bottom. It's not a rally track. It's basically a drag at grass track.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we consider it a rally track because we have grass padding and it's like off-roading.
Yeah. And I think, are you still there?
Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah.
I think that if I had to answer that in a way, like it would be more, I would spend more money on making it look pretty than complicated, right? So
Yeah.
I like your idea. It's a simple track that everybody can pretty much finish, 99% of the time.
Yeah.
But put the effort and money into
The
making it
calls
look
and the
pretty
track.
and all that stuff, like
Yeah, and the calls.
and the
Really full.
cars. Yeah.
Yeah, for us with the cameras, all that I have currently is my phone. That's really the only camera I have.
Yeah.
We don't have any GoPros. We haven't really invested in that, but I did talk to my dad. What if I'm gonna start a channel? We need to invest in GoPros.
Yeah, GoPros are so flexible and can be moved basically and put basically anywhere because
Yeah,
they're so small. We have 3 of them here that we use for everything. So
yeah,
as far as the channel goes, and it just so happened, I picked one up on sale, like Walmart's were some of the Walmarts were getting rid of them, so they marked them down, and then I think Best Buy had a sale on the 7s or whatever when the 8s came out, or and I was just like, I just happened to catch it at the right time, so it's not
yeah,
as much of an investment as some people might think because I don't go for the latest and greatest.
yeah.
If you go for one model back, you can get like $200 less, for
Yeah, plus another problem with like another huge problem a lot of people face is editing. I did try my hand at editing. Like a few years ago, I tried to make a stop motion picture thing
right.
of a small NASCAR race. We would like me and my dad working on it. He messed up by accidentally putting it in like the video in reverse.
Yeah.
And yeah, I tried iMovie for a small little film. The only problem was I couldn't upload to Facebook for some reason. I was like, come on, just let me upload it. Won't let me upload it. And
Yeah.
yeah,
A lot of times with those, you have to export just to a video, right? Like
yeah,
iMovie, I use DaVinci Resolve. Um, like they have an option to export, like once it renders and finishes, to export
yeah,
directly to YouTube, so that it's like a assembly line almost. It does, and then it uploads, and you don't have to touch it,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
that
exactly.
like this video here will be a little over an hour, right?
Yeah,
And it'll take it doesn't take me long to edit these because it's just a conversation. I don't have to chop things out unless someone wants it. I throw a couple things here and there, change a little bit of the audio, and then it's done. But it
yeah,
still takes 2 to 3 hours to render once I have all the
yeah,
stuff in it. Then you upload it. That's another hour at least. Well, I think it's like 40 minutes.
yeah.
So
I watched a video of this person called the Frustrated Gamer. He did a video of like in his life. He said editing. What he does is he films for like 4 hours with
mhm.
his friends, and he always and then he cuts everything out into, and it goes into like a 20-minute video.
Yeah.
And he always posts them in the morning because he gets some done the day before.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've seen people, editing is a huge part of what makes a video good.
Yeah. It's
Like good editing. I know Ghost Joker, he said during the MTFL Monster Truck Football League that the games would take like an hour or so
mm-hmm.
or to film, then it would be, and then it would take him another few hours to edit everything because in the early bits he like did like Johnny on the spot, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So after a while he got sick of it. They would just play straight, no other shenanigans.
Yeah. Yeah. We like I will record depending on the video, but we do the
Yeah.
tabletop managers and we'll record a game, and the game, depending on the game you're playing, can take 2.5 hours, sometimes 3, um,
Yeah.
to play. And we'll record the whole thing. And my thing is I put graphics over everything. So if
Yeah.
you look at the channel and you see there's some videos there, like their battle reports or whatever you want to call them for
Yeah.
these games, you can see like there's every time something gets used or activated on the board, there's information about it. So you can actually follow it even if you aren't a player of that game, which is a problem in that area. But in those types of videos, you'll watch them and you'll go, I don't know what's going on here. So we try to make sure you know what's going on. But I say that to say this: even a 2-hour video, I have to edit out any parts where we like pause or whatever and put it all together. And then I got to go through and
Really pick out the funny bits and do it.
for each change, for each change of the board state. So like something moves and so on and so forth. And I'm keeping track with the graphics, which have like health bars and so on and so forth. For every change in the board state, I have to turn something off or turn something on the image that I made. Basically export a picture and throw it on the timeline for each one of those things. So editing a 2-hour video can take 8 hours. And and then it's a 2.5-hour video or whatever. It takes 4 to 6 hours to to render all that stuff together into a video, and then another 2.5 hours or 2 hours to upload. You know what I mean? So
I do know about like it takes a while because like last year during like one of my mom's friends has a gingerbread party, and me and his son and his friend were downstairs. It was in the basement playing Wii, and we were like doing a game. And it was like a conquest thing on the Wii. It it was super hard. Oh, then we stayed there for like a long time. Mind you, this was last year before the pandemic. Like so it like took us like about 2 hours to even get to the final stage, and then another hour. Yeah, and then another hour to beat it. So yeah, I do know that some games like you're trying to get the whole thing done on a lot, like in a stream. If you're live streaming, it does take a while because those things are all hard to do. I understand that, but I think that's why some people, when they like do the MC championships, they live stream so they don't have to edit all of the games and like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think live streaming and recording and all that stuff, each one of those sections has their own use, right?
Yeah, and problems.
Yeah,
live streaming problem is you can't edit out the bits where there's like a pause or you get up and use like that kind of thing. But
you have to keep things interesting the whole time. You can't just like with the drag race video. I don't know if you saw that we did, the THRA, the quarter mile challenge that we did. It was we recorded for quite some time and then had to go back and I did the voiceover commentary for it. So if you haven't seen that, you can check that out. But it's you can't do those things live. Which is one of the things that I like about watching Rust Belt and stuff, is that it's like, it's constantly going. It also makes it more
Yeah.
difficult to watch live sometimes because you have other things to do and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
You
and you
don't want to
sometimes,
bother your
yeah.
significant other with that. So I'm walking around with headphones on,
Yeah,
you know.
also you miss some stuff of in it. Sometimes like if you like you're away or getting snack, you may miss getting a snack, you may miss it. That's also
Yeah.
another problem with it.
I normally watch mine on my phone so that I can put my headphones in or whatever and just like my
Yeah.
earbuds or whatever, and then walk around and do other things while I'm doing it. You still miss seeing it, but at least you can hear what's happening.
Yeah, what I do sometimes for those, or sometimes I use my computer for my family's computer. The midnight shrub race is I usually use my family's computer downstairs.
Yeah.
There's I use that. And so, or other times, if like we go somewhere and there's a race happening, I will use my phone
Right.
on or if like my family's doing something
Hmm.
while race on, I'll take my phone or go
Right.
upstairs and watch it or use a laptop. Up like yeah, that's really a huge thing.
Right. Well, it sounds like you're a huge diecast racing fan, and as much as I would love
Yeah,
to talk to you the rest of the day, we've been going for quite some time. So I want to give you a
yeah.
chance to, if there's anything that you else you want to promote, like I said, just talk about where they can find you on Facebook and so on and so forth. And I'll put it in the if you want to send me that information, I'll put it in the description below. Why don't you
Yeah.
take a moment to talk about your group and so on and so forth? Any places that you want to actually people to go to find you.
Yeah, so currently all I have is a Facebook group. I don't really have a channel right now because I don't really have the equipment and my track's not as is not ready for a channel yet. So my
Hmm.
Facebook group is Jack John and K Racing, and to find me on Facebook, it's under John Receiver.
Right.
Jack's my nickname.
Okay.
And so if you find me on Facebook, it's John Receiver. And on my group, I do mostly live races. Probably I won't be doing any live races right around now, because I am right now trying to focus on school. Or
Hmm.
probably I'll start that back up probably on winter break, which will start on the 21st. So yeah,
Okay.
on Facebook, it's at Jack John K Racing.
Awesome. We'll put that, like I said, in the description. And if you, like I said, I appreciate you taking the time to sit with me and talk about diecast racing and what's going on with your track and so on and so forth. It's always fun to get an insight into the people that are in this community. So thank you once again, Jack, for sitting with me and talking about it. And if you ever have any events or anything coming up, or free to put them in the Tiny Hot Rod Association Facebook group as well. If you're not a part of that, just send me or go ahead and join that. Uh,
I
okay,
am a part of
I
your
think
group.
you are.
That's how I found out about this thing. Also, I like saw the first thing I saw was like Josh Pulfer. You
Uh-huh.
posting on Westbell about Josh Pulfer. I was like, eh. And then I joined your group, and then I saw Meet the Job. I was like, I
Yeah.
may want to do that.
Yeah, we have you contacted me pretty a good little while ago, and we
Yeah,
were just had to kind of to schedule things up to
yeah.
meet up, and then I'm glad that you messaged me recently to remind me that we talked about doing it sometime in December because my brain has been scattered this past month.
Yeah. The reason I was doing in December is because I messaged you like in like late November. The reason
Yeah,
I want to do December was because the time I messaged you the first weekend was my break week, Thanksgiving
yeah,
break weekend. So yeah, I yeah, that's what I do on week. That's what I want to do on weekend. I have school on weekdays,
right,
and a lot of people have work on weekdays, and also well, I do things in the morning a lot. That's also why
okay,
I wanted to do this early. Like, is it?
right.
Yeah, did 8 a.m. your time, 9 a.m. my time.
Right. No, not a problem at all.
Yeah.
But like I said, thank you so much for joining me today for this conversation. I really enjoyed it. Um, and maybe you can come on another time once you've got the track up and you want to talk about that. But or whatever you want to talk about. So don't feel free to hit me up a little bit later if you want. But thanks
Uh,
everybody for watching. Is there anything else that you wanted to say before we sign off today?
Not really, but uh, make sure to watch the other interviews he's done. He's done well. Not really. The one you did with Nick Devers was about gaming. He's done one with Indiana Diecast Racing, Glenn Holding,
Yeah.
Superman, Stephen King, JDLs, The Jules, and Josh Pulford. Check those out. Those are pretty good.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. You have a wonderful day, Jack. It was great talking to you. I hope to talk to you again soon.
Good.
Right?
All right.
If you're looking to make your race team, promotion, company, or group stand out, check out No Name Nerd. Put your logo and designs on t-shirts, hats, coffee mugs, and more. Their unique designs will help set you apart from the others. What Game Now and Tabletop Sports Network are affiliates for No Name Nerd, and if you use our coupon code WhatGameNow at checkout, you'll get 10% off your order. We thank you for watching Tabletop Sports Network, your home for miniature sports. This was another great episode, and we hope to bring you many more. If you know anyone we should interview or want to sit down with us yourself, just let us know in the comments or message us at the link in the description. Until next time, check out more of the videos here at What Game Now, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share.